Um, I'm gonna record another episode of Seduce with the Otome because I'm not gonna be here in the morning. Um, but so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do Matthew's route. Yay! Matthew is like the adorable. I would say like he's like the adorable child, like one out of all the brothers, and I'm excited. He is so cute. I walked into the kitchen and instantly looked over at Matthew, who was quickly slicing up strawberries and placing them into a nearby bowl. I walked over and looked over his shoulder to watch. Matthew didn't seem to mind, so I decided to ask him a question. What are you making?
I'm going to make a large batch of strawberry cupcakes. These strawberries are going to be the top pieces.
Ooh, strawberry. That sounds delicious. Oh, that sounds delicious. Can I help? Yeah, let me help.
Yeah, I kind of hoped you would. Can you start by making the batter for the cupcakes? I put the ingredients and some directions on the counter over there.
I nodded before heading over to another counter, where a string of ingredients and a small note card of directions sat at the ready. I smiled and began working, mixing the ingredients and pouring the batter into cupcake tins to bake. I had to admit, I made a little bit of a mess, but I felt like the cupcakes were still fine. You know what? You make a mess, they're not gonna care. They have super demon speed. They'll clean it all up in less than 5 seconds. There we go. Now we just need to wait. As I turned to face Matthew, I noticed Matthew's red face. I tilted my head before he walked over and moved his hand a bit towards my face. He stopped, however, looking to me for permission. Permission to what? Nod to him? That was the right answer, yay! Matthew continued to move his hand towards me, gently brushing a finger over my cheek. My senses tripled, feeling his finger wipe over a small stain of powder and cream that laid on my face. Oh, see, yep, I did make a mess.
You, got a stain.
Thanks. Matthew's finger was ginger and timid, wiping the stain off with as little contact as possible. Lightning shot through my body at each wipe, running down my spine in jolts. I closed my eyes, unconsciously leaning into his touch and naturally wanting more. However, Matthew pulled his hand away, causing me to open my eyes and look at him. Matthew was biting his lower lip and had his hands to his chest. Is he okay? He's probably blushing.
Sorry. I got it all?
He's so cute! Oh, thank you. Matthew was so cute! Matthew quickly shook his head and grinned his goofy grin at me before continuing to make another appetizer for the party. I blinked a couple of times, wondering if what I saw was real. The hour of the house party. Oh, yep. I gotta skip over all this because I already read it. I read everything already. No.
I'm so sorry about your grandfather.
Do you have college plans?
I don't care. I'm pressing random answers.
What do you think of the philanthropy?
Do you think the company should...
Get away from me.
You're welcome. Praise is very... And here comes Malix. No one cares. I wonder what happened if I said that.
Whoa! Who let the bitch out of her cage? What is this? A reverse harem or something?
Malix grinned at me evilly, walking closer to me. Duck. I'm not stupid. Let's go make some coffee. Hey guys, what you doing? I'd walk out and be like, what's up?
Oh, crap. We should probably make some lunch.
Oh, crap. Make sandwiches. Think I'll find one of them. Where the heck are they? I sighed, knowing that I would have to search for them in each room. I quickly turned and headed back to the dining room for one last time. And when I arrived, I gasped. Matthew was crouched near the kitchen doorway, peering into it as if a rat had gotten loose in the pantry, and he was the stalking exterminator. Matthew? God, what are you shushing me for? I quickly shut my mouth and pressed my lips together in silence, confused but fearful as to why I had to be quiet. I tiptoed to Matthew, who was crouching by the entrance to the kitchen. His gaze and head moved across the side of the kitchen, still trying to find whatever he was looking for.
He's in there.
Who's in there? What? Matthew's face was seriously fearful and intense. Who was freaking him out this much? Yeah, who the hell is in here? My mind, however, pinned the person down to my conclusion. Malix. Malix? Why did he come back? And why was he in my kitchen? I started to freak out, remembering the fear I had felt the first time we had met. However, I wasn't sure. Where were the others if it was Malix?
I lost sight of him, but I quickly found him and cornered him in there. I know he's in there.
I'm pretty sure it's not Malix, but okay. Who's in there?
That fluffy killer thing.
Fluffy killer thing? Fluffy killer thing. I bit my lip, suppressing a laugh. Once I swallowed my laughter down, I let out a sigh. You mean your cute bunny doll? He's so cute. Who cares if he has a little plastic knife?
Yeah, that thing. Wait, is that cute?
It is cute. It's totally cute. I think it's adorable. Matthew instantly regretted not whispering and covered his mouth. I couldn't help but giggle. What is he doing in the kitchen? Matthew turned to me with an expression of utmost seriousness. Something told me that what he said would be cute and funny, but I decided to bite my tongue gently to not laugh no matter what.
I don't know.
I failed to keep a hold of myself and started to giggle again. The thought of a doll doing anything but sitting there made me giggle. Matthew tried to hush me, waving his arms frantically to keep me quiet. Matthew, Simon's a doll. He can't do anything.
You named him?
Of course I named him. Of course. Simon Tappy. It's cute, isn't it? Matthew let out some sort of defeated whine before turning back to the kitchen, trying to find Simon from where he was. I placed our food on the table and looked as well. So, what's your plan of attack?
Well, I plan to make my way through the kitchen as quietly as I can, and hopefully not get stabbed.
Sounds simple. How is he not gonna get stabbed? Well, you can't technically get stabbed. You can kind of crawl through. I mean, you can't get stabbed. It's a tiny plastic knife. I stood there, unsure of whether or not I should follow. Yeah, let's go. That was the right answer, okay. I didn't know why I was up for this, but I followed along. The small adventurous side of me was very happy with my decision, but another side of me was questioning me, asking me why I did that. Because it sounded fun. Matthew slowly walked through the kitchen, scanning the cupboards and surfaces with a meticulous glare. It was both amusing and slightly frightening to see how serious he could be. Not really, it's adorable. Do all of your toys get out of control like this?
No, it's just this one. I don't know why. All my other toys are okay.
Other toys? Matthew nodded, stopping his search to look at me.
That's what I do. Make toys. I made them for my mother all the time back in the Abbysal Plains, to help her cope with her position.
Her position?
She's the fourth wife of my birth father.
Oh, that's right.
Each of us have a different mother, and all of them, except for Damien's, are queens. My mom, though, hates sharing, so I distracted her with toys.
Oh, that makes sense. I didn't know what to say. A demon with multiple wives seems natural, but I guess it was because I was human. I felt a twinge of disgust run through my veins nonetheless. Still, it was adorable how Matthew tried to cheer his mom up with his abilities. Yeah, that's so sweet. I mean, I think it's really cute. He honestly wanted to help her, and I think that's really nice of him. I was then suddenly reminded of my grandfather and how he made toys all the time for kids. Matthew's power to make small toys instantly would have been so useful to my grandfather. I shook my head and began to search for Simon again. Let's keep looking for Simon. Matthew nodded before joining in. I felt like I was in a comedy mystery, looking for a child's toy instead of a murder weapon. Totally.
Come on out, creepy thing.
He's not creepy. Its name is Simon. Yeah, get it right. Matthew ignored my statement and began to slowly open the cupboards, sifting through the kitchen and the inside contents. I decided to follow suit, staring at the opposite end of the kitchen. Matthew, what do we do if we find him?
We stick him back in my pocket. And
what? Boy, you gotta think of a plan. You have to think of a plan of attack. You can't just say, we put it in my pocket, and, I looked to Matthew, waiting for him to finish replying. However, he kept his eyes to the ground, trying to answer my question and remaining in thought. I continued to search the cupboards, unsure if this plan was going to go anywhere. Why was I even doing this? Simon Tabby was a... What kind of laugh is that, Simon? What the... Matthew and I scanned the kitchen frantically, searching for the source of the laugh.
I knew that thing was evil!
Suddenly, everything went black. Who turned out the lights? Simon. Simon's probably like, I got this. I could totally play matchmaker. I gripped the nearby counter, not wanting to hit anything or fall in the darkness. There were no windows, so the room was almost completely pitch black. I heard skittering across the floor, like a rat rushing to escape with its cheese in its mouth. I instantly jumped in fear before suddenly being pushed to the ground.
Watch out!
I felt myself hit the ground with a body over top of me. 2 hands were slammed beside my head onto the tile floor, stopping the person above me from crushing me.
Hey, are you okay?
Oh, he caught me. Matthew? Yeah, I'm fine. I stared up at Matthew, letting the situation sink in. We were looking for a doll, and now we were on the ground. Well, that's because it completely went black. What broke my thoughts was a flash of gold running across Matthew's eyes. I could feel heat radiate from his body, but the air was tense, and his body was almost shaky. Matthew? Are you okay? You, what? I heard him gulp, and answering my question. He wasn't okay. I could tell, but he wasn't moving. Matthew?
Sorry.
Soon a golden glow covered Matthew's eyes. I expected to feel a warmth in my body from an upcoming spell, but I felt nothing. Something was wrong.
I need you to push me off.
From the sound of his voice, he was desperate to get up and off of me. Why couldn't he move, though? Then it hit me. Matthew, do you need energy?
I do. But
Matthew shut his eyes to try to hide his golden gaze from me. He didn't want to take my energy. Why? Was he ashamed to? Girl, he's trying to respect you because he doesn't want to do it because you helped him, and I have to help him. I have to. If he needed energy, I was willing to give it. I gently grabbed Matthew's face and tilted his head to angle with mine. Leaning closer to him, I brought my face and lips up to his and kissed him deeply. I didn't know if this would help, but it was how he got energy before. I shut my eyes, waiting for the draining feeling to reappear in my body. Matthew didn't move, nor did I feel the energy drain from me. I opened my eyes and saw Matthew staring wide-eyed at me, but unmoving. He was unsure of what to do, and I had silenced him in confusion. I pulled away and spoke. I want to give you some of my energy. You used a lot of it, and I'm sure that the energy you took from me was only used for healing. Let me help you.
I don't.
Aw, he's so cute, because he's trying to be nice. Matthew, if you don't want my energy, just tell me, but I'm offering it to you if you do. All of a sudden, I felt a familiar feeling of warmth run through my body once again. I felt my body slightly heat up as Matthew wrapped an arm around my body, pulling it tighter to his. Matthew grew a lustful gaze, bringing a hand up to cut the back of my neck. Before I knew it, Matthew pulled me into a gentle but passionate kiss. Heat erupted through my body as his kiss slowly and almost timidly got deeper. Matthew kept an arm around my waist while I rested my hands on his chest. The energy from my body was slowly draining in the kiss, making me feel light and warm. It was almost pitiful how comfortable, how willing I was in the situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every moment. Matthew was full of surprises. As childish as he definitely was proving to be a man while he was kissing me. Matthew wasn't forceful, but his kiss was deep and passionate, and it felt almost magical. It was how I imagined the first kiss to be, except with energy drain. Yeah. Soon, though, the energy drain stopped, and Matthew gently pulled his face away to end the kiss. I stared up at him as we both panted for air. I'd never kissed like that before, and I was so lost in the moment that I'd forgotten how to breathe. Matthew moved a strand of hair out of my face behind my ear, eyes still full of desire. Matthew stared silently at me, unsure of what to say. However, I could tell he was full, yet yearning. I could feel the whole of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I truly want to give any more. Keep going? That was right. I was open the opportunity, and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more, and I was gonna let him keep going. I wanted to keep going. I leaned up and kissed him again. Matthew gasped against my lips, but continued kissing back. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it, and following his hand from around my neck. He moved it into his pocket before gently unbuttoning 2 top buttons of my blouse. The desire in my body drove me insane, forcing a moan to escape my lips as he kissed down my neck. As he began to ravish my neck and shoulder in kisses, I leaned my head back and let a pleasurable sigh, I can't talk today. Pleasurable sigh escaped my lips. Matthew was ruthless in his passionate kisses on my skin. Matthew didn't stop touching me, kissing me, making more moans and gasps or shutting my mouth to open air. He may have been full, but he was as hot as I was. Well, he's definitely hot. Ha! Joke. I couldn't comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it simple, but I didn't care. I loved it. His touch, his kiss, his teeth. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down to the chest, just above my brow. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about Matthew intrigued me immensely, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy, seeing the ceiling start to spin almost wildly. I gripped onto Matthew's shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another sound. It felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew how indulging that kind of passion would be that good. Now I just awaited to be awakened, hopefully in a good way. Probably. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I found familiar silks underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. I slowly sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a very sharp pain, soft pain in my neck and shoulders. I could feel my swollen lips pulse gently and healing. However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled back and rebuttoned as if nothing had happened between me and Matthew. I was just missing my ribbon. Before I turned to get out of bed, I spotted my ribbon on the pillow beside the one I slept on. It was tied around Simon Tabby in a nice bow with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read it.
I'm really, really, really sorry.
Aww!
I didn't mean for it to go that far. Please forgive me?
Aww, he's so cute! Oh, I'm dying! I stared at the note, letting a small smile grace my lips. He went too far? I enjoyed it a lot. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both enjoyed. I brought the note to my chest, letting the memories of our meeting flood in my mind. I indulged myself too, Matthew. Matthew is so cute! Oh my god, Matthew was like, he'll apologize for something. He'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. He's so cute. Alright, and I'm skipping past this part. Huh? I turned to see Matthew, who was holding my hand back with a concerned frown on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name isn't Matthew. I want you to know my real name, if something were to happen.
His true name? What did he mean? Why was he telling me this now? Matthew gently pulled me to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Zekeru.
Zekeru. Wait. Wait. Okay, so... I had to clear my throat. Wait, so he pronounces it Zekeru? I got it right, finally. It was so hard to pronounce Eric's name, though. Eric's true name, though, was Uzaitis, and that was a little hard to pronounce. But his is, like, easy. Zekeru. That's not that hard. That's not hard to pronounce. That's easier to pronounce. Wow. As he said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget it. Matthew pulled away and smiled at me, despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you are in any danger, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
Okay. I stared up at Matthew, unable to say anything. I can only nod in response. Matthew smiled before releasing my hand and heading to the dining room. Something told me that my name would be used eventually. Right on cue. Yep. And now we're going to school. Because it's not like Malix is going to kidnap me and put a gun to my head or anything. That's totally not going to happen in this route. Alright, let's call Matthew Zikadu! All of a sudden, a bright purple light engulfed the room, causing the devils around me to cover themselves.
What the?
Gusts of wind rushed past me, almost forcing me back. I covered my face with my arms, bracing myself, then standing my ground. I tried to peek through my arms to see what was going on, but the light continued to shine brightly. As the gusts slowly started to die, the light began to fade, revealing Matthew with his hands shoved in his pockets and his hood up. Matthew! Malix slowly moved his arm from his face, taking in the side of Matthew before laughing hysterically.
Are you kidding me? You summoned the crybaby runt?
Hey! How dare you call Matthew that? Malix's laugh was cut short, however, stopped by his gasps of pain and the thud of something embedding itself into flesh. I couldn't believe it, but somehow a knife had been stabbed into Malix's shoulder, causing him to grip it in pain.
What the hell? A knife?
Next time, I won't miss your throat.
Hey, Matthew! Good shot. Please do it again, but aim for his face. Malix snarled before ripping the knife out of his shoulder and tossing it to the ground. He quickly raised his gun and shot at Matthew, something only to stare wide-eyed at his target. Yes, you go, Matthew! In mid-air, a knife and Malix's bullet clashed and both collided to the ground between the demon and the devil. Matthew chuckled and pulled a hand out of his pocket, revealing a handful of knives. It's splayed out like a fan.
Too slow, Malix. Must suck being an old fart.
Can you, throw the knife and have the next one aim at his face? Malix instantly grew furious, charging at Matthew while shooting rounds at Matthew's shadow-covered face. Matthew followed suit, rushing backwards and shot his knives at each of Malix's shots. Each shot was stopped by a flying knife, making multiple flames speed through the air. The remaining devils stared, trying to figure out what to do. Help Malix or watch in silence. You can't do that because she'll be hit with knives too. Eris, however, walked up beside me and crossed her arms as she watched with an amused smirk on her face. As Matthew backed far into the wall, he stood still, tossing knife upon knife at the incoming devil and his bullets.
Gotcha, you knife-throwing circus freak!
That's mean! I saw a smirk draw on Matthew's face before he hopped up and flipped over Malix. The devil skidded to a stop before barely bumping into the back of the wall. Matthew, however, didn't give Malix a chance to turn around before shooting multiple knives in Malix's back.
Bye-bye, Malix.
Bye, Malix. Matthew tossed the knife into the air and caught it before chucking it at the back of Malix's head. The knife sadly didn't get to meet its target as Malix ducked out of the way and turned to face Matthew with a face of pure rage.
You little shit! You think you're all that?
Matthew brought out another knife and tossed it up and down in his hand, unchanged in his cool yet playful expressions.
Little known fact, I just like having fun.
That's a load of bull, Matthew. You won't even fight me in your demon form. Why? Are you afraid I'll kill you as the demon scum you really are?
No, don't say that to Matthew. How dare you? Demon form? I didn't understand. However, Matthew broke my thoughts from trying to figure that out.
Hey, mind closing your eyes for me?
Okay. Huh?
What are you babbling about now?
Before I can answer, the tension suddenly went from warm to almost ice cold. Then at that moment, something in the air changed. The air instantly went from frantic to still in energy. What could have been described in one tone as the color red quickly turned into a deadly mix of purple and blue as everything began to blend together all at once.
You asked for it, Malix. Now you're gonna get it.
My eyes never strayed from Matthew's face, however, as it changed. His eyes began to glow a bright golden color and a dark blue circle formed underneath Matthew's bare feet. As I stared at Matthew's skin began to morph and shift, changing from human to something else. For some reason, I was both scared and incredibly intrigued to see this new form. Before I was allowed to see Matthew's new form, however, a pair of hands quickly covered my eyes. Instinctively, I reached up and gripped them, trying to pull them off. A voice stopped me.
It's me. Don't look.
Oh, hi, Damien. I listened carefully and let the two words ring together. Don't look. Why? What was being hidden from me? I wanted to know, but something told me to obey Damien's command. I suddenly heard gunshots making me tense up, but then I heard the sound of multiple stabs followed by Malix's screams of pain. The stabbing, splashing sounds of blood and flesh grew more frantic and in number. How many knives is Matthew using? Yeah, I want to know that too. Maybe the stars I wasn't able to see. No, I want to see how many knives he threw.
Matthew, enough!
Almost instantly, after James's command, the sound stopped. The only thing I could hear was the dripping of blood.
I guess I went a little overboard.
Cool! But I can't see, so I can't see how many knives are in Malix right now.
Malix is definitely dead, but you've lost your glamour spell.
Glamour spell? What did he mean? Why did Matthew sound so different? Why was this being hidden from me?
It's a spell that makes us look human.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. Or should I say thank you, Damien? I froze. Look human. They didn't have human forms after all. What did they look like? Really? That's not obvious.
Like demons.
Again, thank you, Damien, for stating the obvious. As if Eric knew what Damien was talking about, Eric cleared his throat and spoke up, followed by the sound of a cork popping out of a bottle.
Well, not for much longer, Princess. Here, Matthew.
Oh, hey, you found my potion. Thanks.
I could hear the small clanking of glass being passed before hearing Matthew guzzle down a liquid of some sort. The feeling of the air around me gently began to warm back up, insinuating that everything had been returned to normal. Finally, Damien moved his hands from my eyes, allowing me to see around me once again. The devils, including Eris, had fled. One on top of Malix's body was a dirty sheet that was quickly turning red from blood. The wall behind it was painted red in blood, still dripping onto the floor and onto the blanket. The blanket looked like it was covering a mound of dirt instead of a body. Boys, however, gathered around me. All of them, including Matthew, looked like nothing had happened. What just... I tried to speak, but everything zipped around in my head, the whole event, and I felt like speaking was impossible.
Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here.
But I wanted to see how many knives were impaled in Malix's body. That would have been cool. But Damien didn't let me look. I could only nod. What had happened boggled my mind to the point of disbelief. I was second-guessing everything, lost in a sea of what and how and when. As we walked out of the warehouse, I looked to Matthew for some form of sign that I wasn't dreaming. Matthew rubbed the back of his neck, walking forward, as if to get away from what happened. It was over. Malix and the boys were finally safe. A wave of relief ran through my body, the thought of never having to deal with them again. At the same time, a painful realization hit the back of my mind. The boys were gone. The boys were only going to stay after Malix was defeated. That was our deal. As we approached home, I could feel something heavy weigh down on my heart. It was late, but the boys led me and turned on the lights in the lobby.
Finally, we can relax.
It will be good to have some rest without devils breathing down our necks.
I'm just tired. Can I hit the hay early?
I think some sleep would be good for all of us.
I love Damien's response. I looked at Damien, knowing he could read my mind, and frowned. I didn't want him to know about my thoughts on the situation. Yeah, that sounds good. I just wanted to end tonight. Too much had happened, and I felt dizzy just trying to figure it out. However, Damien spoke up, stopping all of us from moving.
Should we be gone in the morning?
The air became still with tension. The realization of the situation hit the boys like a wave, forcing them to turn to me in curiosity. They had remembered their deal, and were now awaiting me to decide their fate. I gulped, face to face with the reality of the situation. The boys left it up to me. They looked like they were willing to accept whatever I had demanded. It was only fair, though, after all that had happened. I looked to Matthew, feeling my heart flutter in my chest. I didn't want him to leave, but would he ask to stay? I hoped that he would say no and ask to stay longer. As if he knew what I wanted, Matthew moved and stepped to me, taking my hand in his. He gently smiled at me and spoke.
I want you to know that you've been really generous to us, and I want to thank you for letting us stay here. But is it okay if we stay a little longer?
Aww! Matthew is so cute! He's just so polite. He's like James, but he's like the younger version of James. It's so cute. My heart skipped while a large red blush ran across my cheek. The boys stared at Matthew wide-eyed, but didn't dare speak out. Matthew stepped back to give me space, returning to where he was. I moved my gaze across each boy, trying to make a decision. If they left in the morning, I would never have to see them again, and my life would return to normal. If I decided to let them go, that would have been the best. No goodbyes. No delays. But did I want to? They had done so much for me in such a small amount of time. gonna let them stay. I wanted them to stay. I wanted him to stay. I merely smiled, staring at the man I had come to have feelings for, before smiling at last. I would love if you all could stay. The boys cheered tiredly, but nonetheless enthusiastically. I giggled at the sight. It was cute to see everyone so excited, despite the tiredness that ran equally through our bodies. Today was a rough day. My home is your home. My home is your home, but at least you could stay and help me with the chores. I'm getting a text from my mom. Sorry, my mom was texting me. The boys nodded in unison, agreeing to the terms I had set for them. Despite the good situation, I felt myself slowing into unconsciousness. However, James quickly clapped his hands together, getting everyone's attention and waking me up, making sure I didn't pass out on the floor.
All right, everyone. We're all very tired, so let's head to bed, shall we?
Oh, yeah, sleep is actually a thing. Right.
We've had a very long day, but it will be good to just relax tonight and tomorrow.
Sleep sounds really good right now.
Yeah, man.
Sam just, yeah, man. I watched a happy smile grow on Matthew's lips. He shared my excitement, knowing that we could be together longer. Who knew how long we could stay together? All I cared about was that I was able to be with him a little longer. The others quickly left to finally rest, leaving me and Matthew alone at last. My heart fluttered a bit as Matthew skipped closer to me in excitement. It was really cute to see him that way, so I didn't do anything but smile. He's so adorable! Oh my god! Matthew was gonna kill me. Matthew was gonna kill me.
Thank you so much for letting us stay.
Why is Matthew so adorable? You're welcome, Matthew. I'm happy to have you stay here. I watched his smile brighten a bit before he cleared his throat and chuckled a bit. I didn't know if it was the tiredness or my growing attachment to him, but I felt myself sway a bit on my feet. However, Matthew's face made it clear that he wanted to say something else, making me forget that my bed was also calling my name.
Listen, about what happened at the warehouse.
No, it's fine. You did what you had to do. I understand. I accepted everything that happened and knew that Matthew had to do what he had to do. He was real and he was someone I didn't want to be without, even if that meant nodding against my curiosity. Besides, I was too tired to explore the memory further. Matthew nodded before holding a hand to me.
Come on then. Let's get you to bed.
Yay! I nodded before Matthew gently lifted me up and carried into his arms like a bride and carried me to my room. I didn't want to leave his arms, leaning my head against Matthew's chest, but eventually I was slowly lowered to my bed and covered with my bed covers. I was still in my school clothes, but I was too tired to strip or care. I looked to Matthew, finding a yawn from the tape of my lips as he gently ran a hand over my hair.
Have a good night, okay? I'll make breakfast again in the morning.
I nodded with a tired smile before watching him slowly stand and leave my room, closing the door. A wave of happiness washed over as I laid in bed. I made a good choice. Sure, it would be hard, but I could tell that I would be able to manage it. Help around the house and being with the man who I'm slowly starting to fall for would be worth it. I slowly let my exhaustion take over. I let sleep consume me as I drifted into the darkness in my mind. Everything was peaceful. I was happy. I don't care about you, Diana. I'm skipping because you're a biatch. You are a biatch. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I already know because she's gonna. Oh no! I went too far.
What's even
Dang it!
funnier about human beings? You hear of the
I went too far. I couldn't stop it in time. I'm such an idiot. Sorry, guys. I don't care. That's not true.
What? Do I not make it?
Whatever you're trying to do, it won't work.
You really think so, dear? And what makes you so sure about that?
What was making me so sure? Why was I so confident? Were the boys worth this? Yes! My thoughts began to fill with doubt. All the uncertainties about this whole ordeal began to cloud my mind. If the boys were ever found out, they'll be hell to pay. Was it worth it? What about Diana? What would she do to me? Would she make my parents forget about me completely? Would she ruin my friends' lives out of spite? In my gut, I felt a stone of confidence try to fight back, but the heaviness of my thoughts began to dissolve that stone little by little. What was going on with me? I looked at Diana to see her gaze boring into my eyes. She was using her powers on me this time. I was away from home, so I couldn't escape. Or could I? Did I want to? The way she stared at me made me feel warm and fuzzy inside my chest. I felt like melting. Diana lifted a hand under my chin and ran her thumb over my lips, licking her own. I could feel little shots of energy zipping from under my skin into my chin where she held me.
Now, let's have a little taste of that sweet, virginal sexual energy.
No! Stay away from me! I watched as she leaned in, ready to kiss me and take my energy. Half of my body felt elation at the idea. The other half completely rejected it and didn't want her to even touch me. Exactly. Don't touch me! Matthew! Suddenly, Diana stopped in her tracks.
Matthew? Who is...
I'm getting another text from my mother. Hold on, guys. I'm getting another text. Sorry, my mom sent me another text.
Ah, one of the boys. Why don't you tell me which boy is Matthew?
I felt myself nod in compliance. The fourth. Diana giggled in reply for letting go of my face and stepping back.
Really? The child? With you?
He's the fourth son. Damien's the child because he's the fifth one. How dare you call Matthew that? Matthew was adorable. Hi. I nodded once again, but this time it was particularly my own decision to reply. Diana let out a sound that mimicked a cat's purr before stepping away from me.
All right, then. Well, if it's the fourth son you're infatuated with, you should really rethink your romantic options.
How dare you! Matthew was adorable! Diana chuckled before kissing my nose, where I felt a shot of energy zap out of my body, making me dizzy and recoil. Diana then turned to the desk and sat on the wood, crossing her legs.
You can go now. Remember, no class for the rest of the week.
Yeah, whatever. And how am I supposed to get home? My two friends left me here thanks to you. Yeah, thanks a lot. Now how am I gonna get home?
Oh, were they your ride? My apologies. Let me help then.
Diana then lifted her hand and snapped her fingers. Is the guy talking to you? No! This is a game, dude! Diana then lifted her hand and snapped her fingers. I suddenly felt the floor sink from underneath me, forcing me to look down. A purple pentagram surrounded my feet, pulling me into the ground. Whoa! Before I could fight, however, I sank fully into the floor, fading into the darkness and shutting my eyes. As I opened them, I can feel my silk sheets around me, soothing my anxiety from the darkness previously surrounding me. Why did Diana bring me home? Was this an illusion? Was I being tricked? Something's going on. I sat up in bed, looking around me. I was indeed in my room. There was no mistake about that. Why? Diana is too strange. No, I wouldn't say strange. My word for her is psychotic. And crazy. Mostly psychotic. Was this a game? Was this part of her plan to get the boys back? I was lost and more confused than ever, despite my logical thought trying to piece the puzzle that is Diana together. The more I tried to solve her, the less I understood about the situation I was in. I was interrupted, however, by my door suddenly opening, revealing the boys with Damien's hand on the doorknob.
Miss, what are you doing here?
Hi, James. Nice to see you, too.
Aren't you supposed to be in school?
No. I furrowed my eyebrows and stared at Damien, asking him to answer their question through my thoughts.
Diana sent her back here. She invaded her school and sent all the students back home.
Totally. Hey, you get a week off of school. I should be proud of that.
What is that bitch up to? Seriously, Diana's playing around for no reason.
Maybe it's part of her plan.
The boys continued to argue back and forth about Diana, feeling an almost jealous curiosity in me. Diana seemed to be too deep within the talk to notice my thoughts. For he even stopped to talk to me about his brothers. Well, I mean, it is Diana you're talking about. She has, like, mind manipulation powers, is what I've learned from the previous 3 routes that I've played so far. Why was Diana after them? Why did she want to bring them back? What was so important about the boys that she could travel to the human world to get them? What was going on? I decided enough was enough. I needed answers. Hey! The boys stopped arguing me, staring at me in surprise. I held my hands in fists on my lap, mustering the courage to continue to speak despite my abrupt shout. Why is Diana here? Why does she want to bring you all back? What exactly did you all run from, and why did you run from it?
Miss,
Don't miss me, please! I want to know what's going on. I won't be left in the dark about this. I want to know what I'm facing. The boys looked at each other hesitantly, unsure of what to reply. Finally, Sam pushed Damien towards the bed, making him buckle and land on his knees with his torso over the edge of the mattress.
Damien, do the thing.
Do the thing? Do what thing? The thing? What thing?
Sam, you're not suggesting.
Why not? She deserves to know everything, especially if Diana is targeting her.
Sam's right.
I guess we have no choice then.
Okay. I was getting confused. What was Damien about to do? Yeah, what was he about to do? Damien stood before climbing onto the bed with me, sitting across from me on his knees.
We're going to show you everything. You have to trust me, okay? The minute you stop trusting me, the vision will stop.
Okay. Vision?
It'll be okay. Just trust him.
I looked to Matthew, unsure of what was going on, but I nodded. If this was the only way to learn, then this was my chance to know. Damien gently placed his hands on each side of my head, gently pressing his thumbs into the skin above my eyebrows. I could only stare at Damien as his eyes began to glow gold and energy began to be pulled out of me and forced into my head. Within seconds, my vision went black once again. I was unsure of what Damien was doing, but soon shapes and textures slowly began to appear around me. I found myself sitting on a stone floor in the middle of what looked like a fantasy throne room. Where am I? Hey, this place looks great! Can I live there? I looked down at myself to stand to see my body as translucent as a ghost. Whoa, this is neat! I want to be there! I jumped up and inspected my hands in a sonic panic. I was see-through! Why? What was going on?
How dare they try to negotiate with me? Do they not know whom they speak to?
I gasped and ran behind a nearby pillar from the voice. The sound of his anger and words frightened every bone in my body, turning me into a frightened child.
My lord, please calm yourself. Calm? You're merely testing my resolve. I have more than half of a mind to send my greatest armies to take what should be mine. They are mere insects in the way of my kingdom's expansion. They merely asked for a marriage joining.
Oh god.
So I'm to bow to them and share my land that I have so rightfully conquered?
Hi, demon lord! I peeked from behind the pillar to see a large demon covered in royal clothes, but buff enough to be a military commander. His rage was practically emitted from his body as he growled at his servant.
They are willing to give their land to you, sire. All they ask is for one of your sons to marry their daughter, whom I might add is as beautiful as can be.
She is,
This
never mind.
is ridiculous. To suggest that I need their approval to take their land is beyond insanity. What makes them think I care about their precious daughter?
Oh, God!
Did I mention that she is a prodigy of her kind, sire?
A prodigy?
Yes, my lord. This succubus is a master of her skills in magic and mind manipulation. She is said to sway armies with a snap of her fingers, despite being as young as she is.
Impossible!
If only it were, sire. This succubus is dangerous, but would be a great asset to have should we agree to this arrangement. The only reason she cannot phase you, my lord, is because you are the strongest demon in the plains.
Are you sure that's why? Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure that's how they got the whole marriage thing in the first place. I'm pretty sure since her family comes from the pure line of the succubus, pretty sure they could easily charm him into agreeing to the marriage in the future.
Is this supposed to change my mind?
He's just like, he's like, no.
Yes, my lord.
You are doing a terrible job at convincing me.
This is so funny.
My apologies, sire.
I was lost. I could tell that they were talking about Diana, but why?
Father.
I quickly turned my head to see another demon who looked like a mere child staring at the demon commander on the throne. Father?
Ah, Raystrout, have you finished your training?
Yes, father.
Then what do you want?
I want to be with my brothers the best of the day, Father.
The demon commander walked to the young demon and gripped his hair, picking him up off the ground and forcing him to look up at his snarl. The young demon, however, looked unfazed.
Huh. Arrogance. Why should I allow you to be with them? I should kill you for your lack of respect to me.
Because I want to be with them, Father.
Ooh. Ha! He's standing up to you. I can only stare as the young demon faced his father, despite the massive difference between them. This young demon seemed weaker and easy to kill versus the demon commander. Why did this man kill his son, though? Was this commander that ruthless? No. However, I wasn't expecting him to laugh and release the young demon.
Good! Assertive even in the face of danger. That is why you are my favorite son.
Oh, yeah! Oh, that's right. James is the oldest, so James is like he's the favorite son, is how everyone else says, since he was the firstborn. So basically, since he's the heir, the demon lord prefers him over the others, which is kind of sad. There shouldn't be favoritism at all. I can only stare wide-eyed as the demon commander placed his hand on the demon's shoulder.
Very well. Go. Tomorrow, you will show me your training.
Oh boy. The little demon grinned wildly before running off.
I have a thought.
Uh-oh.
Yes, my lord?
How old is this daughter?
How old? Do you want to know? Probably not.
As old as your 5th, sire.
Uh-oh.
Do you believe this proposal is worth it?
No.
Yes, sire.
What?
Tell those insects that they are safe for now. I will consider their offer.
Consider.
Sire, are you certain?
Did I stutter? Now go!
The demon servant quickly ran off, but as soon as he passed the pillar I was hiding behind, he, along with the commander, vanished into thin air. What the? What had happened? I didn't get the time to try and figure out that, I didn't get the time to try to figure that out before a demon who looked around my age walked into the room reading a book. Is that?
Raestrow, your nose is stuck in those books. Will you not lift your head up from them once in a while?
Huh? That voice. I circled around the pillar to see a second demon leaning against another pillar, smirking at Raestrow.
Aren't you supposed to be with your mother practicing the harpsichord?
Oh, cool.
I am, but I had a feeling that you were in danger.
In danger? What?
In danger? What are you...
Attack!
All of a sudden, 3 shadows zipped through the room and slammed into Raestrow, forcing him to fall to the ground and drop his book. As the sight cleared for me, there were 3 other demons in a dog pile with Raestrow at the bottom.
Get up! No way! You haven't had a break in months from those stupid books. It's time for punishment!
This is hilarious to read.
Death by brotherhood!
That'd be hilarious, Death.
No more reading!
No more reading!
I told you that you were in danger.
Then why didn't you help him? I suddenly knew who those demons were. It's the boys. Even in the demon world, their brotherly connection was astounding. They were merely younger versions of themselves. One of the demons, who I assumed was Matthew, grabbed the book from the floor and opened it, reading it mockingly.
How can you read this, Raestrow? It's all about war strategy. It's boring.
I have to, Zakaru. Get off! There's only one thing you need to know about strategy. Kill them all. Take no prisoners.
Exactly.
You sound just like father.
Oh god. I couldn't help but giggle. It was cute to see them acting childish with each other. Eventually, James managed to push his brothers off of him and stand brushing himself off.
You all are reckless. At least we have fun.
I love that. You're a nerd. At least you have fun.
It's true. You haven't been with us in weeks. Don't you think it's time for a break?
I'm sure Father won't mind.
But I have to... I know you want to, Raestrow.
Damien, I know you want to.
Damn it.
What is going on here?
Uh-oh. I shot my head to the voice to see the commander, aged a little, staring at the boys with his arms crossed against his chest. Damien quickly dashed and hid behind Sam's, peeking over his shoulder to see the large commander.
Nothing is going on. We just passed by each other.
Then why does your brother have your book?
Uh-oh.
Return to your studies,
No!
Raestrow. The rest of you out of my sight. Do not disturb your brother again.
I could only stare as James gently took his book, and without looking at his brothers, returned to reading. The commander walked past the remaining brothers, growling at Sam and Damien before leaving the room. That's sad. I feel bad. What was up with that? Yeah, I know.
Don't worry about it. We'll find a way to get him back.
I don't know. He's on a very tight leash.
I love Damien's responses. They're just,
Ezreal, you're quiet. What did you hear? He's going to a negotiation meeting. He's going to arrange a marriage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna guess that her parents, quote-unquote, convinced him to go through with it.
A marriage? For who?
It must be for one of us.
He hasn't decided who will marry her. It's a girl from a kingdom he wants to take over.
But that's uncharacteristic of him. Usually he'd just attack with the army.
Whatever the case is, one of us is getting married.
I hope it isn't me.
Poor Matthew. I hope it's not me.
What about Restral? He's the eldest.
It would make sense, but having a succubus marrying one of us means that she'll be practically married to all of us.
Well, what should we do?
Before the conversation could continue, the boys vanished into thin air, fading into different color mists. They were replaced by an older Damien and Matthew sitting with each other in the middle of the throne room.
Do you think we should?
I really want to.
I want to as well. Still, it'll be hard to convince Raisturo, since he's the one about to be married, and he's the favorite.
We don't know that, Zakeru. Maybe she's set to marry you.
No way! I don't want to get married.
Poor Matthew, he is totally the child, even though he's the fourth son. He's hilarious.
I don't think you'll have a problem with that baby face of yours.
Don't make fun of his face. I think his baby face is adorable.
What are you two talking about?
We got into contact with the human world again.
Come on, Ezreal. You give humans too much attention.
No way, you gotta listen. They apparently have stores and books and schools and stuff.
So what? It's full of humans who piss on each other for no reason.
What?
They're no better than the devil spawn.
We don't... Okay, Sam, humans don't... Never mind.
Nuh-uh, the one we were talking to wasn't like that.
How do you know, Zakeru?
Because I do!
What is going on here?
Hi, James.
They want to go to the human world.
The human world?
Raisturo, think about it. You won't have to marry that girl and be the heir anymore. You could be with us, and we can make lives for ourselves in the new world.
Now you're just talking nonsense.
I vote that we do it.
Huh? Oh, not you two.
Think about it. This may be our chance to finally get away from this political nonsense we're stuck in. We may be nobles, but we're still our own beings.
True, that's true. They can make their own. They can make decisions for themselves. I mean, I get the understanding because, you know, if it's ruled by kind of like in, I wouldn't say the UK, but like somewhere along that lines, it's kind of, how do I explain this? It's sort of like law that, you know, if you're a ruler and you have children, you know, your oldest is supposed to, you know, you can arrange a marriage and, you know, they'll end up getting married by force because of the arrangement. So, I mean, I get why they want to leave.
Ristral is in.
What? Ezreal?
Woo! So how do we get there?
Woo! He's like, yeah!
Are you kidding me? You don't even know how we'd get there.
A simple spell should work, but it would require someone from the human world to help us get there.
We can ask him.
Oh, he'd definitely help us.
I'm not so sure about...
Raistral, aren't you tired of pleasing Father all of the time?
They pretty much get tired of it.
I am, but...
What he's saying is, get your head out of your ass and let's go. If you don't say yes, I'll drag your princely ass with us.
That's funny.
I don't care what that bastard of a father wants.
That's funny.
Come on, Raisturo.
All right, let's do this. What's the plan?
I couldn't believe what was happening. I was seeing the history of their lives before my eyes. They were nobles, and James was the heir to the kingdom the commander ruled. Even more so, he was going to be married to Diana. Shivers. Ooh. Sorry. They sacrificed everything to leave and be together. They'd rather be free than remain in their noble roles. That's actually really that's a big sacrifice, though. I started to feel a little jealous. They were able to leave while I was still expected to be what my father wanted me to be. How were they able to leave was uncertain still, but I knew I would learn in time. I closed my eyes and mentally asked Damien to end the vision. As soon as I asked, the world around me slowly vanished, and I was brought back into the bedroom where I sat with my head nestled in Damien's hands. My vision began to clear, letting me fully see the boys around me, all with concerned faces.
So, you now know exactly who we...
I kind of figured already, seeing the fact I read all this in the past 3 routes. Hi, Matthew! His baby face is so adorable!
I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry.
Oh, no! Matthew, it's not your fault.
No, please listen. I know that Diana and Malix have come after you because of us, so it's our fault that you're constantly in danger.
Aww!
If I hadn't convinced everyone to come to the human world, we would have never been attacked by Malix and hunted down and brought you in danger and...
Matthew! His sad face! Oh my god, he's so sad! I quickly reached out and put my finger over on his lips, stopping him from going any further. I didn't want to hear anymore. Matthew, it's okay. I wanted to help you out. I offered to let you all stay here. Nothing is your fault. Michael, you've gone quiet. I gently moved my hand and cupped Matthew's cheek, staring at him with concern. I didn't want him to hold guilt in his mind about this whole ordeal. Diana was desperate, and she'd hunt anyone for them. It wasn't his fault she was desperate enough to hunt them down. However, I grew curious. So, Matthew, you're a noble? Matthew looked at me and gave me a goofy smile. He's so cute.
I was once, but even if I had the title, I didn't really feel like a noble.
How come?
Well, I was the 4th noble son of the Demon Lord. With Eric and Sam ahead of me in case James couldn't fulfill his duties, there was no way I was getting the throne. So, I spent the majority of my time trying to make my mother happy.
She was unhappy? How come?
Well, my dad was kind of... well, he married 4 different women. Each of us came from a different mother, and my mother was the last to be married and bear a son. The thing with succubi, though, is that they get jealous very easily.
So, what happened?
The other wives got mad and scorned each other. It wasn't violent, but we never ate together for a reason. My mom, though, was too proud to have jealousy. She was the last woman the Demon Lord married, so she felt important. She felt that because he stopped marrying, she had the charm to stop his marrying spree.
Matthew let out a small laugh, a hint of depression lingering in the breath he let out.
But then the Demon Lord took another woman and she bore him a son outside of wedlock. Damien. The wives, including my mother, were furious. In response, the Demon Lord had a spell cast on them, turning them into spiritual orbs.
That's horrible! That is. Matthew nodded, pressing his lips together in both agreement and sadness.
They could never have physical form, and they lost all their powers. They became slaves trapped in the Demon Lord's castle. However, they were kept alive to make sure their sons grew up to be competent demons.
I'm sorry. Matthew gently shrugged, letting a small nostalgic smile grace his lips.
She taught me how to be a demon, though. Not just a demon, a grown, adult demon. I read books, I learned strategy, everything that James was doing under the Demon Lord's watch. Only, I trained with just my mother. She wanted me to surprise the Demon Lord one last time, and maybe take the throne away from James.
Matthew then reached into his pocket and took out a small mirror.
Here, I'll show you.
Cool! Matthew handed it to me and sent a wave of blue mist into it. It began to glow until it enveloped the room in a bright light. When the lights had subsided, I was back in the main hall of the demon castle. I looked around, feeling unable to move, but I could practically see everything as clear as I had before. However, my focus gathered on Matthew, sitting on the throne as if it was his and reading a book. For some reason, Matthew reminded me of James at that moment. He seemed engrossed in his reading each word and absorbing each meaning. Him on the throne surprisingly fit him. There was something about him.
This is an easy read.
So he's reading James's books? Does he, secretly take them, maybe? A saddened cry, however, echoed through the hall, forcing Matthew to stop, close the book, and stand from the throne.
Mother?
I looked around, confused at the cry and where it was coming from. It seemed to just echo around the room, without any sort of direction. Matthew sighed and placed the book on the armrest of the throne before he could cup his hands together.
Fly and comfort her, will you?
As Matthew opened up his hands, a small bird with blue and purple feathers perked up from the hiding place. Matthew smiled before releasing it into the air. I watched as it flew off and glided through an open archway. The sound of its flapping wings faded into the air as it flew farther into the castle.
Come on.
I could tell that Matthew was holding his breath. He must have cared very deeply for his mother. It was incredibly sweet. At last, the sound of the crying stopped, making Matthew release a happy sigh.
There we go.
Matthew cracked his knuckles in approval and reached for his book. However, before he could even graze the cover with his fingers, the sound of pattering entered the room.
You, fourth son, away from the throne!
All right.
What am I going to do with you? You're a child.
He's the fourth son. Damien is the child. Oh, God. Poor Matthew. Matthew glared at the servant, as the servant quickly brushed the throne off like there was dust all over it. Hey, that's mean.
The next time I see you on the throne, I will inform the Demon Lord. Understand?
Yes.
The demon servant continued to brush over the throne before knocking the book from the armrest. Matthew froze as the servant quickly patted over and picked it up. Uh-oh.
What is this? A book? Why do you have it?
'Cause he wants to read? Is that such a big deal? What's the problem with Matthew wanting to read? Good Lord.
I was reading.
You read? You don't need to read. You're never going to need knowledge for anything, fourth son.
I saw Matthew's eyes twitch, making me grimace. The servant sure had a mouth, and it was annoying at the very least.
I'll just take this book and bring it to the heir himself to read. He's reading faster than the library can provide.
But that's...
Raestro's next area of study.
The servant began to walk away, ignoring Matthew's glare of anger. The servant stopped, however, to look to Matthew to pound one more nail onto the wound.
Let's face it, kid. You have the smallest horns, the smallest frame, and the least amount of power among the noble sons. You'll never be like them, so just stop trying. Use your incubus powers on others who have a child fetish or something.
Hey, that's mean. Matthew may have a small frame, and yeah, he might not have as big as horns as all of them, but that doesn't mean you need to, call him out for it. Who cares? The demon looked at Matthew and up and down, before rushing off wherever he came from. As the servant disappeared, Matthew summoned a knife and chucked it in the direction where the servant left. The knife embedded itself into the hard stone beside the door into the hall.
Ugh, I hate that guy. Disgusting pig fawn.
Matthew walked over and sat at the foot of the throne, clearly aggravated. I would be too. If someone had the nerve to point out all my flaws, I'd be pretty aggravated too. I kind of would have taken the knife and kind of threw it at him before he could get away, Matthew. Amateur. Eventually, Matthew stopped the magic, lowering the mirror and holding it in his hands before looking to me.
I had hoped to show you my mother, but I guess the mirror wanted to show you something else.
Aw.
Sorry.
Matthew. That servant is terrible. Yeah, tell me about it.
Tell me about it. He served the Demon Lord almost his whole life. Ugly pig fawn.
Matthew laughed while I laughed at the insult. It was good to see Matthew in good spirits, despite what was shown and what was happening around us. Still, it was sad to know that he was considered the child of the noble sons. He could read books of knowledge that his brother hadn't read, and he seemed caring. It was insulting to see someone tear him down like that. Yeah, that's sad. Matthew smiled at me before pocketing the mirror.
Whatever. Thankfully, we got out of there, so I could be with my brothers like a normal family. No hierarchies, no politics, no pig fawns, nothing.
I smiled. It was good that he saw the positive side. However, his face slowly turned into a sad tone before he looked down at the bed. Matthew?
You've done a lot for me and my brothers, sheltering us, letting us continue to live here. It may not seem like much, but for us it's everything.
Aww.
But I don't want you to get hurt because of us.
Aww. Matthew, don't look so sad. Matthew, don't look so sad. He looks so sad. It hurts. It hurts. I watched in speechless silence as Matthew lifted his head, his eyes full of almost hopelessness.
That's why I'm sorry.
Matthew lowered his head in shame. I couldn't help but feel my heart squeeze within my chest at the sight. He truly cared. Matthew let out a small sigh before looking to me with a new smile. He hid his sadness very well, but I could tell he was still upset about the whole ordeal.
Alright. You need to sleep and I need to make dinner. I'll wake you up when dinner is done.
Matthew gently pressed me back onto the bed, resolved in what had happened. Matthew needs it! I couldn't leave him without doing something. I quickly pulled Matthew down to me, lifted my head, and gently kissed him, softly, laying a hand on his cheek to keep his face close. Matthew stared in deep surprise before hesitantly kissing me back, caressing my cheek and slightly melting at the touch of our lips. A soft sigh escaped his lips before he slowly pulled away with a smile. He gently licked his lips, making me go red in the face with the simple gesture. He let out a satisfied sigh before nuzzling my forehead.
Go to sleep.
I don't want to! And with that, he stood and left the room, leaving me to rest as per his request. I smiled to myself before relaxing into the mattress. Oh, great! She's here. I suddenly tensed up. I felt majorly uneasy. Something wasn't right. I felt it in my core. She must be here. The thought of her in the house infuriated me beyond belief. I had to make sure she was not there. I rolled out of bed and quickly left my room, wandering the halls and listening closely. She was a demon, but she was listening very intently. There was no way she would have been able to sneak up on me. I know you're here. Where are you? I could feel myself growl. It wasn't a matter of fear that she'd take away the boys anymore. Her very existence had lit a fire in my rage within my gut, which only grew as each day went by. This feud was getting on my nerves, and I knew it would not end well for one of us. I wasn't going to lose that demon bitch.
Leave me alone!
No, she's going after Matthew! My heart stopped. Diana was with Matthew. My mind flew into slow motion, playing fake images of Diana trying to seduce Matthew into my head to further fan the angry flames inside of me. I instinctively followed Matthew's voice. I was approaching the grand lobby and followed the commotion in the dining room. The sound was echoing from the kitchen, so I peeked inside while hiding around the corner. Oh, great. I almost growled at the sight. Matthew was holding to one side of the kitchen island counter, while Diana was holding the other side, looking to him with a smirk.
Oh, come on, Matthew. Don't you like games? A game of tag sounds so fun.
Not with you. Now go away!
I'm hurt. Wounded, truly. Did I go too far?
You went too far when you came here and attacked her.
Aw.
Pity. And here I thought I was going to offer you the chance to become something better than just a simple incubus.
What was Diana going on about? More than just an incubus. She was insane.
How about becoming the next demon lord?
Oh, great. This again. I've heard this for 3 routes already. It never worked out for you. I froze. What did she mean? Becoming the next demon lord? The boys weren't in the demon world anymore. They had no claim to the throne anymore. Matthew stared at Diana, which made me worried.
The next demon lord?
Well, currently, I'm the contracted bride to the heir to the throne. Since the throne is open, it's available to any son of the demon lord's line.
Aww.
Think about it. You'll gain the throne, the land, and a bride to continue your lineage with. Doesn't that sound like a perfect life for an incubus like you? You'll show your father and mother how grown up you are, that you're not just some little cute boy people can take for granted.
I could feel myself gripping my fist tightly in anger. How dare this girl try to convince Matthew to return to the demon world? He ran away from it. He didn't have to go back. He shouldn't go back. My mind began to wander, imagining him saying yes. He would leave and the brothers would follow to bring him back. They'd be trapped because Diana would make sure that they could never leave. Matthew would be the new demon lord with Diana as his queen. I can't lose him.
Like I would believe you.
You don't need to believe me, Matthew. You just need to come back home with me. I promise, you'll be respected as you were supposed to be.
I'm not falling for it.
Fall for what? The truth? The truth is that your brothers still treat you like a child, even though the demon world is far behind you. The truth is that your little human love affair is fleeting. She can never see you as a man, just as a little boy who wants to grow up.
How dare you? Matthew is adorable. I love his little childish things and his little baby face. How dare you, Diana?
Stop it!
I stared as Matthew chucked a handful of knives at Diana, who ducked and dodged them with ease. They dug themselves into the tile wall before fading away as if they didn't exist.
You dare attack me? I'm not going back. And that is final.
I could see Matthew's muscles tense and flex, waiting to attack Diana. The girl in question, however, took a deep breath and looked to Matthew with a pleading look.
You won't even return to your mother? She's been crying ever since you left.
Do not bring her into this!
Matthew glared as Diana circled the island towards him.
She begged me to bring you back. She wants you to get what you deserve. The throne.
I don't believe you.
Matthew then walked away from Diana, heading to the fridge to start dinner. As if she wasn't there, Diana stopped and leaned against the counter.
She'll never love you, you know.
Yes, I will! Don't tell him that!
I don't mind. I care for her.
Aw, Matthew, he's so cute.
The human girl? You must be joking. A human like her can't possibly provide you what you need. She's a human. You're a demon.
I felt the urge to storm in and shut her mouth. It would give away my position, but I was growing extremely tired of Diana. I would too. Barge in and set her straight. Go defend Matthew. How dare she? How dare she berate him like that? I decided to be assertive and quickly stepped into the room, rushing to be in front of Matthew. Diana and Matthew looked at me in surprise as I glared daggers at Diana. Get out.
Well, well, little human. You're awfully nosy in business that doesn't concern you.
It does, 'cause you are berating Matthew, and that's not fair.
Does it? I don't think a human would understand the importance of this affair.
You're asking him to leave to be someone he doesn't want to be. That's not gonna happen.
Oh? And what makes you so sure about that?
'Cause I love him. I love Matthew. Matthew is so cute. Diana stared in shock at my exclamation. Was it not what she expected? I didn't care. I wasn't going to lose the man I had grown to love.
You love him?
Yes, I love him. Aw, Matthew. Diana's lips twitched and the edges curling into an amused smirk as she stared at me.
So what? A human's love isn't enough to understand the situation. A demon can never reciprocate human feeling.
To both of our surprises, however, Matthew stepped forward and put an arm around me, pulling me close to his body.
I love her.
I saw the confidence Diana had shatter in her eyes as she stared at Matthew at his words. I could see the struggle in her face and try and find some weakness in Matthew. In me. Anything.
A demon love a human? Impossible.
You heard me. I love her, Diana. I'd do anything for her, and she cares for me more than anyone in the Abbysal Plain ever had. More than you'll ever know. She makes me feel like the adult I'm supposed to be, and there's nothing you can do to change that, ever.
Aww, he's so sweet! Diana took a step back, physically feeling the sting of Matthew's words in her chest. She had lost. I could see it in her eyes. Diana's eyes grew dull as she glared at me and Matthew. It seemed almost uncharacteristic of her, yet it was something I wasn't surprised to see come from her face.
Very well. Fine. Valet.
And with that, Diana faded into the ground, into a purple pentagram, crossed her arms, and looked almost upset. Matthew and I were left alone, left with the silence of the room. I finally let out the air I was unconsciously holding in my chest, relaxing from the ordeal. Matthew stepped to me and held me gently, surprising me.
Are you all right?
I nodded in response, unable to speak so immediately after being surprised. Matthew let out a sigh, relaxing in the embrace. I gently placed my hands around him, returning the embrace slightly. I could hear Matthew's heartbeat. He held me close in his arms, and I felt safe beyond words. Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay. I'm holding you.
Aw, Matthew! I looked up at Matthew, surprised at what he said. Matthew blushed, moving a strand of hair from my face to look down at me.
You mean so much to me. You make me feel like more than just a kid. I've never felt this happy before with anyone, and here you are giving me every reason to love you.
Aw, he's so sweet.
I love you so friggin' much.
I stared wide-eyed, blushing like a maniac. Was this real? No way. This couldn't be real. Was Matthew confessing to me? Confessing his love for me? Matthew gently caressed my cheek, staring into my eyes with a loving and almost hopeful expression. The warmth of his hand invited me to nuzzle into it, closing my eyes. This wasn't a dream. My heart was pounding enough to where I sure Matthew could hear it. Matthew gently leaned in, closing his eyes. He stopped, however, remaining just a mere torturous inch away from my face. He wanted me to show my feelings for him. He had left himself open for me to kiss him, or leave him empty. The power I had was unbelievable. Hello! His baby face. I'm definitely gonna give his little baby face a kiss. I loved him, and wanted to give him exactly what he wanted. I gently leaned in, letting my lips finally touch his gingerly. Matthew let out an almost surprised gasp against my lips before wrapping both of his arms around my waist, pulling me closer to him. I moved my arms up around his neck, feeling the kiss between us deepen to a heated height. My chest was pounding, making me feel and see fireworks in my mind. Matthew was everything I desired. He was the man I wanted, demon or not. It was all so supernatural to fall in love with someone so quickly. Maybe it was the sense of magic I was thrown into. Maybe it was Cupid playing with my heart. Either way, I found myself melting at the thought of him being with me. I found myself combing my fingers through Matthew's hair, making the man holding me softly tremble at my touch. He gently nibbled on my lower lip, asking me to deepen the kiss between us even further. I easily teased him before finally inviting him in. His tongue gently danced with mine as one of his hands slid up my back and cradled my head. He gently leaned my body back, making me cling to him as the heat of our kiss rose higher and higher. Gently, though, Matthew slowed down the kiss and pulled away, staring down at me. His eyes burned for me, wanting me to melt and buckle in his arms. I could feel like I'm melting already. It's Matthew! It's his little baby face! Matthew opened his mouth to speak, but as a very small blush ran across his cheeks, he was reduced to a shy silence. I stared as he tried to find words to say in my eyes. I knew exactly what he wanted. He didn't need energy, though. Right? Are you...
No, I
stared wide-eyed, feeling a blush grow on my cheeks. He didn't say anything more, but I knew what words would have followed if he continued. He wanted me. I was stunned. Was I appealing to him? Was his passion really that deep for me? Matthew gently nuzzled my forehead, losing the blush and finally being able to speak.
If you don't want to, we don't have to. I mean, it's up to you.
Aww, Matthew's so sweet and polite and his little baby face. I could feel my mind go numb and purr at the idea. A moment with an incubus. He was a demon of sex, the purest form of lust and desire. My world would rock and I would enjoy every second of it. At the same time, I was indeed inexperienced. Diana wasn't wrong when she claimed me to be innocent. But did I want to give that innocence to him? Especially this early? Yes! I found myself forgetting the words yes and no. What could I say to him? I knew then what I wanted to say, but how to say it without breaking the moment. Matthew gently wrapped his arms around me and went back to kissing me passionately. I could feel energy whiz around me, making me open one eye to see blue light around us. When the light subsided, I was in my bedroom, on my bed with Matthew above me. I stared as Matthew held a look of both lust and love. My heart skipped a beat, simply just from his gaze to me. This was okay. I wanted to see all of him, and give myself to him. Aww! I gently guided his head to me, kissing him slowly and bringing him further into the mood. Matthew slid both his hoodie and shirt and tossed them to the side before cradling my head in his hands and kissing me deeply. I felt heat rise in my body, making me undo the tie underneath my collar and release the buttons on my shirt. I quickly removed my shirt and vest, making Matthew stop kissing me and stare in slight surprise. I was simply in my bra, but I could feel a blush invade my cheeks. My shy side began to fester in my mind. Did I really want to do this? To undress before a demon? No, this was the man I loved, and yet I felt my innocence strike over me almost in shame. I needed to fight it. I quickly rolled both of us over to where I was sitting on Matthew's lap, staring down at him. Matthew sat up and looked at me with almost the sexiest of smiles I've ever seen. Ah! Matthew! Matthew is his face! I'm gonna die. Matthew pulled me close. Knowing I was still shy, began to kiss my lips over and over. Each kiss was his promise to keep me safe, comfortable, and love me. I kept my arms wrapped around Matthew, taking each kiss he gave, and gave my own in return. I didn't know if it was the fact that we were both top new, or maybe just I craved his touch, but I didn't let him go. However, as he held me, I could feel the slight shiver of his hands. Was I his first? He wasn't going to tell me. He wanted me to enjoy the moment, but was afraid of screwing up. His shivering hands showed me his emotions. As he laid me down and knelt over me, Matthew smiled and finally embraced me as we both desired. Pleasure between us would be heavenly, and we'd go through it together. I closed my eyes and gave myself to Matthew. My mind, my body, my soul, it all belonged to him as he held me. His body, his mind, and his soul, it all belonged to me as I gave into his embrace. His kisses and fingers over my skin would forever engrave themselves into my mind as our passion rose through the incredible heights. Our breaths and moans to each other equally sounded and echoed like a blissful chant we wished to never end. We kept moving, loving, and feeling every inch of our bodies until we had enough, and I was enveloped in his embrace. Skin to skin, heartbeats matching, we held each other in the glow of the aftermath. I nuzzled my head under Matthew's chin as he held me close.
I love you.
Aww, I love you too, Matthew. Matthew is so sweet. Just to hear those words come from Matthew's mouth made my heart flutter. To hear me answer made my soul warm in glee. I could feel us both sink into peaceful sleep together. It was the best sleep I had in days, and I was happy. I had love and I had happiness, and my life was perfect, and my life was simply perfect. When I opened my eyes, I found myself staring into Matthew's bare chest. I blushed but looked up to see Matthew's face still sleeping. His sleeping face made me giggle softly, but reality's situation made my heart flutter. Oh, that's right. Here comes Diana. Get away from me. You're a biatch. No, I'm not gonna give up Matthew, 'cause you are such a biatch. What? Oh, crap. Oh, well. The warm feeling in my heart had reminded me it was all real. Demons, the magic, the love. All I had was real. I smiled as I held my hands to my chest, relishing the feelings dancing within my soul. I let out a happy sigh before looking up and seeing where I wandered to. I realized I was standing in the dining room. Oh, this is different. I stopped at the smell of baked goods. Taking a gigantic whiff, I let the smell of sugar and sweets fill my senses. Matthew must be baking again. Ooh, cool! I tiptoed over and peeked into the kitchen, wanting to know what he was making.
Almost done.
What you doing? I watched as Matthew started to decorate an already wonderfully looking cake with blue and white frosting. It looks delicious. I was practically salivating. However, as I watched him, I smiled. He looked so concentrated in his work. It was adorable. His little baby face.
And there. Perfect.
Matthew stepped back from the cake, allowing me to see his masterpiece. It was indeed perfect. I wanted to taste soon. That looks amazing, Matthew.
What?
Matthew quickly turned to me in surprise, trying to hide the cake as I laughed.
I'm not done. I mean...
Matthew. I walked over and smiled, giving him a kiss before walking around him to the cake. Closer, it looks all more scrumptious. What's this for?
Well, I mean, it's for something pretty important.
I looked at Matthew, raising an eyebrow as he wrapped an arm around my waist. What is it for?
Guess. I'll give you 3 chances.
Okay. Or what? What if I don't get it right?
Then the cake is all mine.
How dare you? Do not come between me and cake. How dare you, Matthew? Hey, no fair! I wanted to pull away, but Matthew laughed and dabbed some whipped cream on my nose from a nearby decorating spatula.
It's totally fair. Now just guess.
Is it your birthday? Matthew shook his head.
Nope. Second guess.
Damn it. Is it an anniversary? Matthew nodded. Before I could cheer, Matthew rotated his hand, gesturing me to continue.
Anniversary of?
I puffed out my cheeks. I could memorize facts and lessons, but dates were bad. It was like asking a girly girl when her boyfriend's frat party was. I don't think I ever... could you use a different simile? Because I'm, like, That's never happened to me, so. Matthew laughed before he kissed my cheek, making my cheeks deflate.
It's the anniversary of when we first met.
Oh, cool! I had practically forgotten. He was right. It had been a couple years since I moved in and met Matthew and his brothers. He threw a party last year for it. How could I have forgotten? Time definitely flew. Matthew smiled at me, making my heart flutter and tweet once again.
I want to celebrate it every year in a different way. Next year will be something extraordinary. For now, though, this cake will do.
Aw, Matthew! He's so cute! I quickly pulled Matthew's head down with my hand and kissed him sweetly, wanting to know my appreciation with a kiss. He stared at me as if his greatest wish had come true. I felt back a giggle at the sight. Matthew gently pulled me to him, hugging me to his chest. I nuzzled into Matthew's chest, hearing his gentle heartbeat and memorizing his tempo.
I love you.
I love you too. Before I could finish, suddenly the cake, which had been silently and peacefully sitting on the counter, exploded into a giant mess. Matthew luckily was quick enough to pull us back before we got hit by flying cake pieces. Simon blew up the cake! That's not fair!
What the?
I looked at the cake to see a very mischievous little creature standing over the cake, triumphant at what it had done. I began to laugh as Matthew grew red-faced.
Simon Tabby!
I quickly rushed over and grabbed Simon, who made a squeak noise in my hands. I was still giggling as Matthew came over and glared daggers at the white doll covered in cake. To calm Matthew down, however, I stretched off on my toes and kissed him softly on the lips. Matthew stared but kissed back, not wanting to let go of me without a kiss of my own. I love you, Matthew. He's so cute! Matthew sighed before smiling at me, finally calm.
I love you too.
I didn't want to wake up as this was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of this man in my life. There were no words that could describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, ecstatic, high, all at once. Here I was with the man I would be with forever. With a cake I was delighted, even in pieces. That's true. I had gained the heart of a demon. No, of the man I loved. I vowed to cherish him and love him for the remainder of my days and beyond. Could a demon love a human forever? I knew Matthew would. And that was my happily ever after. Aww, Matthew! Okay, so, that's the end of Matthew's route. I still have 2 to go. I have to do James, which is this one right here, and then I have Damien, which is him over here. So, Matthew, I love Matthew. He's one of my favorites. He's just like this little baby-faced, childlike, but, he surprisingly can be mature. And, it's sad that when I saw the memory, when I saw the vision of the, servant kind of berating Matthew, that kind of hurt, because Matthew, it doesn't matter if Matthew's this, he may have the smallest frame, and he may have, like, the smallest horns or whatever, but you don't call someone out on their flaws, because that's just making the wound worse. That's just hitting the nail on the head, and it's sad, and I felt really bad for Matthew, because I know what it's like. People have called me out on my flaws too, and it just kind of made me, think Matthew and I are similar in those ways. He may not be a real character, but I can understand where they got the idea of the character from. But this game was actually made by Michaela Laws, and I personally am loving this game. I mean, it's hot. It's 5 guys who are demons. This just makes it better. And this is an anime visual novel. Everyone knows how much of an anime person I am. You can ask any of my friends. But, let me know who you want me to do next. I only have 2 left. I have James and I have Damien. So, leave a comment on who you want me to do next. And then we'll just do, whoever's left. If I do James next episode, then next time I'll do Damien. If I do Damien next episode, then I'll do James. Whichever one of the 2 you want me to do first. Alright, that's all for now. Bye, guys.